What is up, guys? Media Master Menard here today, and welcome back to your one-stop shop for content on all forms of media. And as you can see, today we're going to be talking about the PS5 reveal event. It was live streamed earlier today, and there's a lot of exciting things to take away from this. And in general, it's a very exciting time to be a gamer or just a fan of technology. Before we get into things, if you do end up liking this video, please leave a like. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. PlayStation did not pull any punches. It started off right off the bat with honestly the best game of the showcase in my opinion, and that was Final Fantasy XVI. Yes, it has been announced, probably way too early, but it still got me hype. It's being headed up by Square Enix's Business Division 3, and that's run by Naoki Yoshida, or Yoshi P, who is the main man in charge of Final Fantasy XIV, and I believe he was also in charge of Final Fantasy XI. That is some good news because those have some of the best narrative experiences in all of the series, and I'm really hoping that that carries over into this game and they focus on the story first. But what we saw was very cool. It looks like they're going for a medieval fantasy setting with not very many steampunk or modern aesthetic to it, which I really like. I know some people do like that modern aesthetic in their Final Fantasy games, but I personally like the traditional stuff. I think it will be really interesting to see how the combat turns out. From what we saw, it looks very action-based, like they took all the steps to have a very good action game, and that makes me happy because if they're going to do action, they better do it right. I don't want anything like we got in Final Fantasy XV where it was kind of, I don't know what it was just kind of auto battle and just watch what happens. But from what I've been reading, they brought on developers from the Devil May Cry combat team and have had them help out with developing this combat system. Those are just rumors. We'll see more info come out as we go on, but I think things are looking very good for Final Fantasy XVI. It looked great. I like the aesthetic. It looks like it's actually integrated in with the world of Eorzea from Final Fantasy XIV. Just a little hunch I've got, but I'm very excited to see more info come out about this game. And okay, I will not take as much time talking about the next games, I promise. And speaking of the next games, we are looking at Spider-Man Miles Morales. That was the thing that was revealed after Final Fantasy XVI, and they showed us a lot of cinematic footage, but they also showed quite a bit of gameplay. And let me tell you, this gameplay is the best iteration or successor to the Batman Arkham games that we have ever seen. It looks like they've perfected the formula. I mean, my eyes were kind of hurting from how good this looked, and yeah, there was a lot of quick time events, but the game looked absolutely stunning, and this is for sure going to be a console seller at launch for the PS5. So the next thing that Sony showed was the Hogwarts Legacy game, and honestly, it was hard to tell exactly what this was. It looks like some sort of Hogwarts RPG that's a little darker than the books type of game, which I think is actually a really good idea because a lot of the people who grew up reading Harry Potter are now older and would appreciate maybe a darker toned game. Not sure if this is a PS5 exclusive or not, I didn't catch that, but I do think it has potential and could be something interesting for more casual gamers. And we knew Call of Duty was going to make an appearance at this reveal, and they showed up for quite a few minutes, and honestly they didn't really show anything new from their Call of Duty specific reveal event that they had not too long ago, but everything that they've shown looks pretty good. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is going to be on all platforms, obviously, and there's going to be cross-play between everything, cross-generational play, which is really good for gamers. But I will say that it is very important to note that it looks like PS5 is going to be having a lot of the timed exclusivity deals that the PS4 had, which is going to help push PS5 sales over the Xbox Series X sales, I think, a little bit. I think Call of Duty actually does move the needle a little bit, so that is something that definitely should be noted. As for me, I think Call of Duty is always getting me somehow. It's going to be probably 1 or 2 months post-launch where I'm going to be playing that game. It just, every year they seem to get me the same way over and over again. So the next game that was showed off was a game called Deathloop, and it was really hard to know what was going on here. It is a PS4 exclusive, and it looks to be some type of shooter with maybe some stealth elements in it, and looks like there's some PvE and PvP elements maybe in it. but much more than that, it was hard to tell exactly what was going on, and personally it looked kind of mediocre and not that interesting. I don't think this is going to be a system seller and be moving consoles by any means. And right after that, they announced Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition that had some bonus content, some upgraded graphics, the whole nine. I do think it looked really good. I haven't had a chance to play that game yet, so maybe this will be my opportunity, but I do think I would probably be playing that game on PC if I was going to play it, which we can kind of get into that dynamic a little bit later on. But overall, I do think that's probably a good title to just kind of bolster the launch window. I believe this is actually a launch game, Devil May Cry 5, and I think it will be there for people who don't have anything else to play and maybe missed out on it before and can play something right as the PS5 launches. The next game that they showed was Oddworld Soulstorm, and just like the name implies, the game was very odd. Didn't really pique my interest. Still have no idea what it's about, even after the developers came on and talked about it. So I thought that was another miss for Sony and something that just really wasn't all that interesting. Somewhere in here they showed Resident Evil 8 Village, I believe was the subtitle. I thought that looked really cool. I have never played Resident Evil ever, but that game makes me want to play Resident Evil. Obviously that's going to be an exclusive. That game looks sick, guys. I think they really outdid themselves there. Another game that a lot of people had heard about being a launch title was Demon Souls Remaster. And guys, I've played Bloodborne, and I haven't really played any of the other Soulsborne games besides Nioh, which isn't made by From Software. But I want to play Demon Souls really bad, and that is going to be a PS4 exclusive. It also had the asterisks also available on PC, but again, we're not sure on the timed exclusivity on that. It might be a Death Stranding situation, we're not sure. But that game looks really good. I mean, everything looked so fluid, and the world that the guy in the armor was walking around in looked amazing, and it's such a cult classic game that really, I'm not going to go back to my PS3 to play it, but I would love the opportunity to play it brand new on the PS5. I really think this will be a game that does move consoles, especially since it's confirmed to be a launch game for the PS4, so that will be very interesting to see what the numbers on those sales looks like. Next thing that was announced, Fortnite's going to be there at launch on the PS5. That is no surprise at all. Epic Games, especially with everything that's going on with the Apple and Google Play Store, is definitely going to want to get their game out to as many people as possible. But the next announcement was very interesting and does put Xbox in kind of a bind. PlayStation Plus Collection looks to be PlayStation's and Sony's answer to Xbox Games Pass. You're going to be getting a ton of PS4 exclusives through your PS5 when you have access to this. It wasn't clear if this is an add-on to your PlayStation Plus or if it's included in base PS Plus, and it's also not clear if PlayStation Plus's price is going to be rising. But what we do know is you're going to be getting access to games like God of War and Persona 5 and Mortal Kombat, and that is just something that Xbox can't really compete with. I have to be honest, I think the Xbox Games Pass games kind of suck and aren't that good of offerings. So I think that was one of Xbox's biggest things coming into this, was the Xbox Series S was pretty much a Games Pass machine, and if Sony can combat that, it is really going to hurt the Xbox. And finally, Sony revealed the pricing for the PS5. It's $500 for the disc version and $400 for the discless version, and I really think Sony and Microsoft are getting into an interesting battle here. Obviously, the Series S, priced at $300, is the cheapest way to get into next-gen gaming, but I do think there are some caveats with that we'll get into next. And then you have the $400 discless PlayStation 5, and then you have obviously the PlayStation 5 with the disc drive and the Xbox Series X at $500. Now, I think why this battle is so interesting is the PS5 discless is the exact same hardware as the PS5 with the disc. So you are basically getting the full next-gen experience for $400, and you are getting about 2.5 times the performance of the Xbox Series S, or $100 more. So I really think there's going to be an interesting battle going on this holiday season for sales. I also think the Xbox Series S is a little kind of disingenuous with its marketing about being complete next-gen gaming, because Xbox Series S is marketed for the more casual people who just want to get into next-gen gaming and use it as a Game Pass machine, basically. But the storage is a huge problem. There's like nothing on there. Like one game is going to take up most of your storage. But furthermore, they say the target is gaming at 1440p 120 FPS. Now I think that is kind of interesting because casual gamers aren't playing on monitors and most TVs aren't 1440p. So I feel like that's just a little bit misleading for a lot of people, and the Xbox Series S is maybe not as good a value as Xbox is trying to lead us to believe. I do think it is very good value, and I do think it is the easiest, cheapest entry point into next-gen gaming. I am not disputing that, and with DLSS there might be some upscaling, but from the stuff that's coming up around about how it's not going to be able to run Xbox One X enhanced versions of games at 4K. I mean, we are looking at a severely weaker console than the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. So I really do think a lot of people are going to be leaning towards that PS5 at the $400 price point, the discless version of the PS5, because a lot of people do not care about physical media anymore. I mean, we stream our music, we stream our TV shows, our movies, our anime, all of that stuff, that a lot of people have adopted that with gaming too, where they just download their games onto their console and they just play. They don't need a disc anymore. I personally do like discs, so I think I'll be going with the disc version of the PS5, but I know a lot of people just don't care about that anymore, so I have a feeling that this discless version of the PS5 is going to be selling like hotcakes. After the press conference, Sony announced that we are going to be getting pre-orders going live at most retailers tomorrow, so buckle up guys, it's gonna be crazy trying to get one of these bad boys. I am going to probably be staying up late or waking up very early in an attempt to get one. I'm gonna have all my notifications on sitting in front of me while I'm at work tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited to try to get my hands on one of these bad boys. But before the press conference ended, we did get one last teaser, and that was for Ragnarok, which you could hear Kratos talking, so I'm assuming it's going to be God of War Ragnarok, and I know that is going to have a ton of people super excited. It's not coming until 2021, so it's not really in the launch window, but I mean, that is going to move a lot of consoles when it comes out. A lot of people call that the game of the generation for the PS4, so that is bringing a lot to the table. So overall, I think Sony did a fairly decent job with this press conference. There were a couple things I would have liked to see more of. Mainly, I would have liked to see more firm release dates because, yeah, they announced Final Fantasy XVI, but, I mean, knowing Square Enix, that could be released 5 years from now. I mean, we have absolutely no idea on a lot of stuff like that. I also would have liked to see them discuss the PS4 or the PS5 and the PC exclusivity, if that was going, were they going to be launching these games simultaneously? Because if they are, you're going to run into the same problem as Xbox, where why would I buy this game on the PS5, or why would I even buy a PS5 if this game is going to be releasing on PC and I have a PC? So I think that could hurt their console sales if they don't kind of discuss that more, because a lot of those asterisks were concerning to me, and I would have liked to see that discussed more. But I kind of want to know what you guys thought about this press conference now. Do you think Sony killed Microsoft? Personally, I think that if Microsoft didn't have the Xbox Series S, this console war would be over. It would be a wash. Sony would have just run away with it, because the Series S being priced so aggressively, I think, will help out a lot for people who are buying gifts around the holiday time, trying to get something for their younger children to play that's cheaper, and they just kind of want the easiest entry point into the newest technology. I want to know what you guys thought about the games too. Do you like what was shown? What was your favorite game shown? And what do you wish would have been shown? Let me know the answer to all those questions down in the comments below. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Maybe bringing you guys more movies, TV, video game, and anime content. So hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I post. And until next time, this is Master Menard, signing off.
Now look at the top, I'm going crazy, who wearing the crown? Scoodly bop, doodly bolly, doodly down. Doodly doodly.